In the 19th century, Texas became one of the few places in North America where the expansion of European settlers was not only halted, but temporarily reversed. This remarkable resistance was due largely to the Comanche people, a Native American tribe whose military strategies, unparalleled horsemanship, and deep connection to their land made them formidable adversaries. Unlike many other tribes, the Comanches did not merely engage in sporadic conflicts, but rather waged a continuous and highly organized campaign against European settlers and later American settlers. The dominance of the southern plains became a symbol of Native American resistance to colonization, and their legacy of defiance has shaped the history of the American frontier. At the heart of the Comanche success was their mastery of the horse. Introduced by the Spanish in the 16th century, horses transformed the Comanche way of life. Comanche warriors became some of the most skilled riders in the world, allowing them to conduct rapid raids and wage war with precision and mobility. From a young age, Comanche boys were trained to ride and hunt. By their mid-teens, many had already become proficient warriors, capable of surviving in the harsh plains and engaging in complex military operations. The horse was not only essential for hunting buffalo, which provided food, clothing, and tools for the tribe, but it also became a powerful tool for war. The Comanches' ability to fight on horseback gave them an edge over enemies who were still relying on foot soldiers or less mobile forms of combat. The Comanches' warfare was deeply rooted in their culture. Raids were an essential part of Comanche society, not only as a means of acquiring horses, mules, and goods, but also as a way to maintain their social structure. These raids were organized military campaigns, often involving multiple families of warriors, with women and children playing key roles in managing the spoils and logistics. While the Comanches were known for their brutal tactics, including killing adult male captives and taking women and children, they also integrated captives into their society. Many of the children who were captured during raids were adopted into Comanche families, raised within their culture, and sometimes became influential members of the tribe. One of the most famous examples of this is Cynthia Ann Parker, who was captured during a Comanche raid in 1836. She was taken from her family, assimilated into the Comanche tribe, and later married a prominent chief, Pete O'Connor. She bore 3 children, including Quanah Parker, who would become one of the most influential Comanche leaders in history. The Comanches' first significant contact with Europeans occurred in the mid-1700s when Spanish settlers began encroaching on their lands. The Spanish initially struggled to deal with the Comanches, who proved to be an elusive and effective foe. In 1758, a group of Comanches raided a Spanish mission near San Antonio, marking one of the first major encounters between the two groups. The Comanches successfully looted horses, killed soldiers, and burned the mission. This event highlighted the Comanches' ability to resist European colonization efforts and foreshadowed centuries of conflict between the tribe and Spanish, then Mexican, and later American settlers. The Comanches successfully looted horses, killed soldiers, and burned the mission. This event highlighted the Comanches' ability to resist European colonization efforts and foreshadowed centuries of conflict between the tribe and Spanish, then Mexican, and later American settlers. The Comanches were not only a threat to European settlers, but also to other Native American tribes. As they expanded their power, they pushed out smaller tribes, including the Leonapashes, who were forced to relocate to other parts of Texas and New Mexico. Some tribes, like the Kiowa, sought alliances with the Comanches, combining forces for hunting and raiding expeditions. The Comanches were ruthless in their raids, and they often targeted the horses and livestock of other tribes, destabilizing the region. This created a dynamic of shifting alliances and hostilities, making the southern plains a complex and volatile region throughout the 18th and 19th centuries. By the early 1800s, the Comanches had become the primary obstacle to the westward expansion of both Spain and Mexico. As settlers began to move into Texas, they found themselves in direct conflict with the Comanches, who fiercely defended their territory. In the early 1820s, As the Mexican government sought to establish settlements in Texas, it quickly became clear that the Comanches would not accept foreign rule. The Mexican government tried to negotiate with the Comanches, but their efforts were largely unsuccessful, as the Comanches preferred to maintain their independence through force rather than diplomacy. The situation escalated in 1836 when settlers, under pressure from the growing population in Texas, began to demand action against the Comanches. That year, Cynthia and Parker was captured during a raid, an event that would bring attention to the Comanches' tactics. As the settlers grew more organized and determined to push westward, the U.S. government began to send military forces to deal with the Indian problem. The Texans' campaigns against the Comanches became increasingly violent, and the conflict expanded as settlers pushed deeper into Comanche territory. By the 1840s, the Comanches began raiding deeper into Mexican territory, even approaching Mexico City. These raids were carefully planned and executed with precision. Comanches preferred to raid under the full moon, using the increased visibility to conduct night raids with surprising efficiency. The Great Raid of 1840, one of the most famous Comanche raids, was a direct response to the Council House fight, in which Texas officials attempted to arrest a group of Comanches who had come to negotiate a peace treaty. The incident turned violent, resulting in the deaths of 35 Comanches, including 12 chiefs, and the capture of women and children. In retaliation, the Comanches, led by Chief Buffalo Hump, launched a massive raid across South Texas, devastating towns like Victoria and Leanville. This raid demonstrated the Comanches' ability to strike at the heart of settler communities, despite facing overwhelming numbers. Throughout the 1850s and 1860s, the Comanches continued to resist American expansion. However, by this time, their once mighty empire was beginning to crumble. The arrival of American settlers, the rapid destruction of the buffalo herds, and the relentless pressure from the U.S. Army were taking their toll on the Comanches. In 1871, Colonel Ronald Mackenzie, a veteran of the Civil War, was tasked with putting an end to the Comanche resistance. Mackenzie launched a series of military campaigns designed to break the power of the Comanches once and for all. The final defeat of the Comanches came during the Red River War of 1874 to 1875. The U.S. Army, using advanced weaponry and superior numbers, systematically dismantled the Comanche strongholds. After a series of bloody skirmishes and battles, the Comanches were forced to surrender and were relocated to reservations in Indian Territory, now Oklahoma. The destruction of the buffalo, which had once been central to their way of life, and the overwhelming force of the U.S. military left the Comanches no choice but to submit. The Comanches' fall marked the end of a vibrant and resilient culture that had resisted European colonization for centuries. However, despite their defeat, the legacy of the Comanches lives on. Quanah Parker, the son of Cynthia and Parker, became one of the most important leaders of the Comanches during the late 19th century, playing a key role in negotiations with the U.S. government and helping to preserve his people's culture and heritage. The Comanches' history serves as a powerful reminder of the strength and determination of Native American peoples in the face of overwhelming odds. Their ability to hold off American settlers for so long, and their strategic use of horses in warfare, left a lasting mark on the history of the American West. Even today, the story of the Comanches continues to inspire and inform discussions about Native American resistance, resilience, and survival. The tribe's military tactics, their relationship with the land, and their way of life are remembered as a testament to their enduring spirit and their fight to maintain their independence in the face of relentless colonization.